Good morning and welcome back to my back garden, and it's crazy to think that only a few months ago this space here, where there is now a garage extension, used to be a car park. But before I show you the progress of the garage extension and tell you exactly how much it's all cost, let me show you this. Just look at this garden. It's, well, can you actually call it a garden anymore? Because it's just full of weeds. And naively by me, when I was digging all this over with the digger, I never thought it was going to end up like this. This stuff, oh, that stings that. This stuff is this high. And I bought these laurels probably about that high, and now they've nearly doubled in size. And these weeds started from absolutely nothing, and they're actually higher than the laurels now. And I was going to show you the garden room slab, but I can't get through there anymore. I'll see if I can get around there. Like I've said in the previous videos, I've never done this before, so please don't judge me. But anyway, I got all the hardcore whacked down. Did 2 runs over that. That was pretty straightforward. Then I put the sand down. And then whacked all that down. Then the membrane went down, the visqueen. Then the insulation over the top. Then the visqueen over the top of the insulation. And then the steel mesh on top. But this is where it went completely wrong, because my skills on actually laying a timber frame are obviously not up to scratch because it leaked. It leaked in quite a few places. But in the end, the concrete has gone on the slab, and it is a slab. How good it's going to be, I don't know, because obviously there's no structure on it yet, but I'm thinking hopefully it's going to be okay. So as you can see, this is already overgrowing with weeds on this side. This side is not much better, and you can see here, this is where there was some leakage, but I don't think it's too bad in the end. It should, I mean, it's fairly level. We had to use the trench blocks to stop the, you know, the boards from spilling out. Like I said, if I was going to do this again, I would definitely do it with more pegs in the tray, because obviously it's spread out in places. This backside though was actually okay, because I managed to backfill some of this to stop it from spilling out. Unfortunately, because I'd got rid of the digger, all this ground had become so hard, and there was no way I'm going to be able to hand dig and backfill all that. It would have taken me probably days, if not weeks, to do all that. But I would say the worst place that was affected by the spillage was here, and that has got a little bit of a depression in it. But that can be filled, because there's going to be nothing special going on here. There's going to be no cars on it or anything like that. So structurally, it's going to be fine. It's got the steel mesh in it. It is level, which is the main thing. It's level, and that's good. And the finished size of this is 11 meters from there to there, and then 11 meters back to here, and then we've got 4.5 there, 6.5 meters across there, and the same to make it a symmetrical L-shaped garden room. Obviously this has cost money, which is separate to the garage extension. I am going to do a separate like costing on this when it's finished, but this is, let's be honest, it's going to taking me to do it. It's going to take me a very, very long time in between the other videos that I do on travel and stuff like that, which I do enjoy doing this, but I much prefer sitting on a cruise ship for a week, I'll be honest. So since the last video, the progress was the roof was finished off with the slates. The roof windows were installed, fitted, and they've got a 20-year guarantee. I mean, can't argue with that really. Scaffolding was dropped, so the fascias, soffits and guttering could be fitted. And there we have it, the finished superstructure garage extension. I don't know if a superstructure is classed as having the doors on, but as far as I'm concerned, that is the finished project that the builder quoted me for in the first place. You might have noticed that there's a couple of windows in the existing garage as well that I've kept separate on the costing, so whatever I tell you the price for this doesn't include the new fascias and soffits on the existing garage and the windows. So I'm going to need the phone for this. I wrote everything down. There's no way I'm going to be able to remember everything involved with this. I'm going to struggle to actually remember how everything got done in order. Anyway, let's try. So before they even started, actually broke ground on this project, I bought 4,000 bricks, 670 blocks, a load of trench blocks, lots of sand and cement. That all cost £8,050. And then, if you remember the previous videos, there was a load of mess here. There was all the ground. This was excavated down quite a lot. So there was a massive pile of just crap that needed a grab wagon to come. Well, not just one grab wagon. There was a lot of grab wagons, but including the concrete for the footings, that was £4,000 for that, and to remove all the dead ground that we don't need. Then I mentioned to Gary, the builder, that I wanted to have a toilet in there, and he then said, well, we need to put a waste pipe in. Obviously, our septic tank is on the other side of the garden, so it's probably 60, 70 metres worth of waste. That was dug up, laid, and the cost for that and some general expenses was £2,000. Then I've got another thing down here just saying materials 437. I don't know what that's for, but it's what was paid out. And if you remember, I had a great time in the digger, but it did cost money. And after Gary and the lads had finished doing it for the footings and stuff like that, I obviously cracked on with the garden. And the first month of using that with the toilet hire at the front, and we had a dumper truck as well, that was £1,100. Then I had to order the lintels, if you can see them above where the doors are going to go. They were going to get quarried, same place that the ones from the house come from. They were £456. Then it was time to actually do the concrete slab, which is meshed as well. So if I do want to put a car in there at any point, I can do that. That cost, just for the concrete, £1,957. Then there was a bit more sand to buy, and bricks and cement and just little bits and pieces like that. And the smaller lintels that just go over the top of the doors, not the big concrete ones. And that was £2,546. Now this is where I saved the most amount of money. And even though this wasn't going to be done for a while, I did buy these early on in the project. And this is the slates. The quote I got for the Welsh slates was £14,000. And I thought, I don't really want to spend £14,000 on slates if I can help it. So I got some Spanish ones, which, as you can see, match the existing structure, the existing roof, perfect. And they came in at £4,546. Wow, what a saving, nearly 10 grand. And then the roof structure needed to be bought, the material, so all the timber for that cost £4,000. And then bought the windows, the roof windows. They're not Velux ones, but they're just as good in my opinion. They look fine. I mean, they're not really going to be used that much where they are. It's not like the ones in the loft. So £1,500 for them. And then we created a little bit more mess. Well, I might have done. Someone created mess, and we needed a couple more grab wagons, so that was another £600. Then to actually build the roof safely, the scaffolding had to go up, and we needed an access tower for inside. That cost £2,250. Then one of the major costs on this project is the steel for the support, the structure, you know, the integrity of the building, and the steel for all that. This is including fitting as well, and all the welding, and putting the piece in above the door there on the right hand side for the existing wall to be knocked out so we can make it a through to the garage. That was £8,500 for the steel. Then the second month of digger hire, because I kept it on, and then we still got the toilet hire, and then I used a little mini dumper truck, and that was £1,376. Then I had to buy the fascias, soffits, guttering, some extra bits needed for the roof, just some fixtures, fittings, the ridges, the valley stuff, quite a bit. There's quite a lot of costs that you just forget about on this, so I've added it all together. Hopefully it's pretty accurate, but for all that was £5,900. So correct me if I'm wrong, if you think I've missed anything else off on this. Total cost for the materials, £48,876. Then there was Gary's labour on the project, which was £37,500. That makes a grand total of £86,376. So obviously there's still so much more to do on this project, because this is only superstructure. So the bifold doors still need to be fitted. They've been ordered, so they should be here in a couple of weeks. And I'm going to do a separate price for all of this, because we know up to now it's £86,376, whatever it was, and I can see it costing quite near, well, maybe not that much more to do the inside, but I think it's going to be quite a lot, because the floor still needs to have the underfloor heating down. I think that's 10 grand. Then the flooring, probably some tiles are going to go down. Continuing into there, that could be, I don't know, that could be another 10 grand. Then obviously the walls need electrifying, the plugs, the sockets, everything. The room just needs all finishing off with plaster. boarding, everything like that. This steel needs painting. This wall still needs knocking through, which is actually in with the original quote, so that won't cost anything extra. I'm going to show you up there in a minute. That's the room above the garage, which the staircase has been moved this way. Still need to finish the stairs off on the bottom there, but we can't really do it yet until the floor has been finished, because obviously the exact height needs to be calculated so the stairs look right. I bought the 4x2 timber to frame up this at the back, because here's going to be a room for the toilet. Then there's going to be another recess here for the bar area. Then this is going to be a room to house the boiler for the underfloor heating and just the hot water in general. And I actually thought that I'd really messed up with this Velux window. It's not a Velux window, you know what I mean? The roof window is up there because there is going to be a room there, and you wouldn't have a roof window above it, would you? It's just, that'd look stupid. But I've come up with a plan. Hopefully it'll work. And that is to have the room here as normal. It's probably going to be about 2 meters. Obviously we've got to come back here for the regulations. It can't be, well, you wouldn't have it right there anyway on the bifold, it looks stupid. So it's going to start about here and then come to here and go to there. So there's going to be a door there. Obviously we need a door to get into the room. Then here I'm going to have some stairs, and then the top piece here, the top piece of the structure is going to be storage. So as you're going up the ladders here, this is going to be hot just because it's a loft space and there's no other ventilation. And we can just open that and it's going to work out perfect, because this is going to be a complete wall all the way around there. Like that is a complete wall, but it's just going to be a studded wall. So obviously time will tell whether that will work, but I think in principle, thinking about it, that should be okay. So be sure to check back on part 6, I think it's going to be next, when I build this. Yes, I'm going to build it. I've done a little bit of this work before. It can't be that difficult. I've even bought a load of new tools. Got a DeWalt rip saw there, battery operated. So I've got the 5 amp 18 volt battery there, and I've got an 18 volt nail gun. I've already had a go of it. That's brilliant. It's going to make that job so much quicker. Got my drill, got all my stuff, got a new drill bit for doing the wall. I've got a load of nails and fixings and all kinds of gear to do that job. And if you want to buy any of this gear, then I've got some Amazon links in the description, which does help me out, gives me a little bit of a percentage kickback, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4%, whatever it is. And it does help me out if you're going to be buying it anyway. Before I forget, I'll show you the loft space, which I think is really good now because this staircase has been moved forward, because it used to be a lot further back, which meant this space at the top of the stairs, where I'll show you now, there wasn't as much. So it has actually made the room a lot bigger. Need to be careful I don't fall down the gap here onto my friend's car. So anybody who remembers the podcast I used to do with my friend Ben, this is the room we did it in. And if you remember back to that, it was so hot. We could only do it early in the morning, and then as soon as it got to like 10:30, I don't know where the heat has gone, because just fitting these these roof windows, even with that little bit of ventilation there, has made so much of a difference. Oh, bang my head on that then. I'll get used to that. And now the view out the back is great. Look at that view. Right over the fields. Pretty good. The desk we used to use was there with all the podcast equipment. Now it's just, as you can see, it's a Christmas decoration storage area. And if I had my way, I'd just get rid of it all and throw it all in that skip outside. My wife doesn't agree with that though, so I'd just leave it. So the space that I've got planned for above the bar area and toilet and the other room for the boiler, this should fit up there nicely. I can put the racking in it. Fill in that hole for the old loft ladder access. And this floor is a little bit bouncy, a bit too bouncy for my liking really. It's always been like that, and I always said I was going to fix it at some point, and now is the time. Because as I go back down into the garage extension, this is the equally as messed up garage with all the stuff. The reason all this is off the wall is because this is all going to get plasterboarded. Then across the top there, the same people that did the steel in the garage extension, they're going to fit a piece of steel across the top and an upright there to support that. So there will be no bounce at all in that room when that's done. And then still loads of wall finishing. We're going to have to put some plasterboard on the walls, finish off all the timber, fill in all these holes. There's still quite a lot to do. So hopefully you're enjoying this 5th part and this series in general, because I'm loving filming it all actually, and it's good to look back on for me. But if you are enjoying it and you want to keep you know, up to date with it, please consider subscribing. A like on the video would be amazing. Comment anything, I'll try and reply to as many comments as I can. Not that I get loads of comments or anything like that, but I appreciate the people that have commented up to now. I'm going to do loads more parts. I'm going to explain all the costs, any of the problems. So there's loads more to do on this. So definitely worth keeping up to date with it. Thank you very much for everybody that's liked, shared, commented, subscribed up to now. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you on part 6. And one last thing that you might have noticed, the eagle-eyed ones of you, there's a pallet of bricks in the garden, which is about 400 bricks, which is about £500. I've subtracted that off this garage build because these bricks are for the wall at the front. So they're not an over order, they've just been ordered just so we've got them ready for that, which is another bit of the garden that's going to be done. As much as everything, I think this is going to be so many parts. I'm going to be here forever.